You have been told if you just work harder, you just grind more, you just do more, you just spend more hours trying and doing, that you will be successful. That is all wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I can chime in on that. I think that, I mean, if I was just to hear that and think about my own life, I would agree with that. I was taught to work hard in school, actually joined the military, got my college degree while I was serving 4 years active duty, got out, grinded, started businesses, put, 15-hour days in. And yeah, eventually I had a big exit in my company and I achieved this financial freedom that I'd always dreamt about. But man, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for it a couple reasons. One, I just sort of like lost my identity because everything was about growing my company for years. But probably even more impactful for me is I had a really hard time I'm having a hard time unwiring my brain to actually enjoy life. And it was always about sacrifice today for tomorrow. And as we know, man, not to sound cliche, but tomorrow is never promised. And what if you grind 2 decades like I did, and then you wake up and you have a terminal illness or something like that? I think you need to train yourself to enjoy life now as opposed to grinding it out. Plus, grinding it out actually buries your head in the sand and you're sort of doing very, very rote activities to try and get ahead when really you should be sitting back and connecting capital with opportunities, building a new mindset and creating value.
Look, I hate grind culture. I don't love the idea of grind culture. And I've said this before, if that's your true nature, your true desire, and that's your happy place, so be it. But I've had so many conversations. I've been fortunate to have so many conversations with so many successful people, and the majority of them, with the exception of the rare few who truly love the grind, that will work 100 hours a week no matter what, because that's their happy place. 99% of the people that I talk to, that I speak with, that I just dig one layer deeper of why they want financial freedom, why they're working so hard and trying so hard and grinding. They don't want to grind. They want freedom. They want financial freedom and they want time freedom so they can live the life they want. It's not about, and I don't know where this grind culture came from. And I don't know if it's, in past years, like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, you were paid, you put in the work, you grinded more, you worked harder, you accomplished more. But we're at a time, it's 2026. We don't have to exchange time for money. I would argue that my most valuable time spent is thinking. I would argue that most people's most valuable time is spent thinking and solving problems. And look, you can work, and I know it's kind of cliche, but work smarter, not harder. Like, if you can solve problems in your mind and find ways to actually work smarter and not harder, not physically harder, not more demanding, not working at something that just takes all your fucking time day after day after day, that turns into a lifetime, to me, that's working smarter. And we're all real estate investors. And you can be a real estate investor that grinds every day and bangs your head against the wall and still trying to figure it out, and you're stressed and you're working 100 hours a week. Or you can be a real estate investor that works smarter and increase your cash flow, grow your net worth without having to work 100 hours a week.
Well, I mean, if I'm listening to 2 people, right, and one person goes, look, you need to wake up at 4 a.m. and you need to be in the office first, or you need to be, diving into your emails and cold calling, doing all this crap, and you need to work, 12, 16 hours a week for 5 days a week for 10 years. Like, this whole grind thing, for some reason, it's gotten popular and popularized and people are impressed with it. But if I'm listening to that person versus the other person,
who's that person? Tell me who that person is.
Well, I think there's a lot of those folks out there. Alex Hormozi is one of them, right? Where he encourages the grind culture. And by the way, I think he loves it. So that's fine if he loves that, if that's true, but I don't think it's necessary. But the other thing too is like, okay, here's the second person, right? The second person goes, look, I have a relationship with my family, with my kids, I'm healthy. I travel. Yeah, I work sometimes because like we all work, technically, we all do stuff. But I go out and I create massive value that's like not attached to, it's not attaching dollars to my time. So like for me, it's like, if you're going to grind really hard forever, why don't you just go work for a corporation or something? Why don't you just go work for, to me, it's like, unless you just love it, that's like your thing. That's your thing that you're addicted to, by the way. A lot of these people are addicted to that thing. Then the second thing is, what's your definition of success? Is success just achievement? Is success just another book? I'm writing another book. Is success just another $1 million? Is success, like, what is the definition of success for you? And I think that's where this thing gets individualized, and you need to like listen to this conversation and really think about it for yourself. For me, it's multifaceted. It's not like one thing. It's not like I'm just going to go build my castle and get really wealthy. It's multifaceted. It's my relationship with my wife, my relationship with my kids. It's my health. It's my spirituality, whatever that is, right?
You forgot
How I
relationship
feel
with me.
connected to God, and like, right? Like there's my relationship with my family, my extended family. Like there's other things other than
With Travis.
God
Travis
and
really
you,
wants you to be, really wants
yeah,
you to.
I know. My relationship with my best friend Travis. No, but really, like my definition of success is multiple things. Now, if your definition of success is like, I want to be wealthy, I want to drive the nicest cars, live in the nicest house, and I want to be able to name drop all the time because I get to speak on stages with other people who are cool and speak on stages. If that's your thing, then you might want to go grind, but like that's not my thing. So you have to define what is success for you, and then go figure out a life.
Well, look at these people. Look at these talking heads that are, I mean, yeah, they're out there. Don't have kids. They get in your way. Well, first of all, kids are like the biggest blessing. Personal belief, I feel like we're put on earth to procreate and have kids and teach them the things we know. But I would say, look at their life. If all of their online content is grind, get up at 4:00, get up at 3:00, get up at 2:30 in the morning, get after it, do 5 workouts, create 10 LLCs or whatever the hell they're talking about, right? Like, but if these are but if there's no mention of their life, yeah, maybe there's some social media posts of them on a private jet. Okay, whoop-de-doo, it lands, and then you get off, and then you're grinding again. I mean, look at their life. And Gabe says this all the time. If you're working backwards, think of the end. And what is the end? It's not just your balance sheet, your bank account. It's also like, what sort of life are these people living? And then follow those people. Follow the people that are thinking more about time freedom of thought, freedom of geography, freedom of choice.
But that's why it's an individual thing. Some people want to grind, maybe. Like I mentioned Alex Hormozy. Maybe he loves to grind. This is what he loves. Maybe he's got a personality where that's his definition of success, is waking up early and working hard and building a castle, whatever. And that's fine. But like, just don't follow him or somebody else just to follow them. Ask what you actually want.
Hey guys, if you like what you're hearing on the 0 to 100 podcast, come join the 0 to 100 Elite Mastermind. We have a very simple goal for you. That's replace your day job, make $120,000 a year plus in cash flow, real estate, and become a millionaire. That's it. If you like that, if that's you, click the link below and we'll see you on the 0 to 100 Elite Mastermind.
Well, that's the whole point. It is absolutely 100% a personal journey. And, I don't know Alex Hormozy personally. Like, do I think he's happy? Not really, not necessarily. Do I think that he's built a business out of working harder and grinding more? Yes. Is he financially successful? Absolutely. Right. Like, I have nothing against the guy. It's just, it's not the life that I would want, and as I said at the top of the show, I talk to a lot of investors, a lot of successful people. Most of them do not desire, nor do they want to build something that takes all their time away. They're not into grinding. They're actually trying to create enough wealth, enough passive income so they can live the life they want. And so, like, for me, when I think of success, it goes far beyond financial. It's not just more money in the bank account. It's not just another property. It's what kind of life do I want to live? I don't care if someone chooses to have kids, not chooses to have kids. Yes, my wife, my kids, that's a huge blessing in my life. It's like, I can't even imagine my life without kids anymore, right? Like, it gives you a sense of purpose. But I've also, because of the wealth I've built through real estate, has allowed me to have more time with my wife, more time with my kids, more time with family members as they pass or before they pass. And so there's this higher level of financial freedom and wealth that can allow you, not for sure, but if looked at right, can allow you to have the time freedom to get to enjoy what you want in life. And so me, it comes down to happiness, whether it's Alex Hormozy or, I don't know, like, who else is, just preaching grind culture. Like, it's
Cody Sanchez thinks big on that, but I don't know. She does talk about her life.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them out there, and I think it's popularized, and it's like this whole, like, like there's almost like glory in being like, well, that's cute. You wake up at 5, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I do my cold plunge by 4:15. Like there's like this glory in like one upping each other and like who has a worse schedule. And for me, that's not impressive or cool. I would be like, yeah, you're all kind of sound like losers to me. Like you should go figure out how to create value and do all the other things that are cool in life. Now, again, if you're absolutely addicted to that game and that's what brings you your dopamine hits, then by all means go chase it. But like to me, it's like I'd rather follow the person who's like, I have an amazing family. I've got, good relationships. I'm healthy. I'm all these things I have all the time. And I've built a castle. That's cool to me. I'm like, oh, holy shit. That sounds amazing to me. And that's, I think, what I'm trying to pursue. But that also means that you're not like, I could be a lot wealthier than I am today. For sure. 100%. I believe I could be, because I don't also focus all my time or a lot of my time on building a real estate portfolio. I focus some of the time, and that's okay with me. I'm fine with that. Like I live such a good life, man.
But Mitch, I also think it's multifaceted in that I don't think it's either or, right? Like I do think people connect. If I work harder, we said this at the top of the show, if you work harder, if you just work more, you'll be more successful. And even in terms of financial success, like it's not a direct correlation. Working more on shit that doesn't move the needle, working more hours, grinding more does not guarantee you financial success. And I'll go back to what I said before, like some of my best ideas are times I'm solving my problems. In fact, most of the time I come up with an idea to solve a problem, whether it's a new acquisition or something within my portfolio or a decision that needs to be made. It's never when I'm grinding. It's when I'm doing something else. It's when I'm outside. It's when I'm in the shower. It's when I'm traveling. It's not when I'm looking at an email. It's not when I'm, talking to lenders and brokers. It's when I have time to think, and when I even think, again, I correlate a lot of it back to like my level of happiness and my level of autonomy and my level of freedom. Like I don't want to put things in my life that actually take me away from the few things that are actually most important to me, which is my family. It is the autonomy of my time and the ability to move, on a daily basis or a weekly basis as I please, so I can live the life I want. And it also goes like, how do I feel inside? Like what level of happiness? Like I think about a guy like David Goggins, nothing real estate related, right? Goggins, super inspiring, super impressive guy. I read his book, Can't Hurt Me. I have my wife read it. She reads it. And I said, what do you think? And she goes, I wonder if he's happy. And I'm like, yeah, the dude's a fucking badass. The guy's a grinder. There's a lot that you can learn from him. Absolutely. The mental, the physical, like pushing through shit. Like I do think some of those things are important, but then it's like, yeah, is he happy? I don't know. And I think it doesn't seem like it. Like, and I feel like you can have both. You can build a wonderful life and a wealthy life, and you can create a lot of wealth without having to grind. And I think that's really the point that
I had a relative, I won't say who in my family, but somebody said to me, older relative to me, he said, look, you can either go and build wealth and and not know your family, and your family will, you won't even have a good relationship with your family or whatever, or you can have a great relationship with your family and build very little and live mediocre.
Absolutely bullshit.
And I believe that I was a young kid when this happened. I was 15, 16, somewhere in there. And it wasn't until I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I got around to other people that I realized that he was fundamentally wrong. And if I believed that, that would become my truth. So I decided not to believe that. And I adopted the mentality, and I said this, and I still say it today. I want it all. I want it all. I want my wife and my kids to look at me. I want my wife to be my best friend. I want my kids to want to hang out with me when they're adults. I think that's one of my metrics for success is like when they're older, do they want to hang out with me? Like, do they still love me and respect me? I want to be healthy. I want to be wealthy. I want to travel. I want it all. And I think there's a way to do it. And for me, that's the definition of success. It's not mutually exclusive. Sorry, Trav, I stepped.
Well, I think it also goes into your mindset going into wealth building, right? That was a lesson that you figured out early on. For those of you that haven't read Rich Dad Poor Dad, do that. But if you go into if you have a mindset of grind equals success going into building that, yeah, you might build something amazing. But then, like I said at the top of the show, it's hard to unwire yourself for that. And there's also hacks that you can do to not fall victim of that before you start building wealth. And that, get around the right people, the people that you want to emulate, people that are building, like you said, that have it all, have great relationships with their friends and family, people that are connecting the dots, building a lot of value, whether it's building businesses or real estate portfolios, but people that are living amazing lives. Surround yourself with those people. Watch what they do. Look at how they look at the world, because that's really important. And there's hacks. I mean, there's also just some very tactical hacks. One of the things that we learned early on is if you buy a duplex in your backyard or a single family rental property in your hometown, you're going to sort of be forced to the default. You're going to be running applications because you can do it. You're going to be fixing toilets because you can do it for less expensive than the trades guy. The minute we bought a larger property, a 40 unit plus property, 3,000 miles away, it forced us to think about not how are we going to do this, but who are we going to find to do this, right? How are we going to build systems to handle this? And so I'd say, get around people that inspire you, and then maybe don't buy real estate in your backyard. Maybe look at outside areas and learn how to optimize those assets and create massive wealth without having to input all of the hours to get the output that you're wanting.